what I had in my head before I started the whole coaching program was that you make a really good track, you get it signed to like Spinnin or Revealed or Armada, like one of the really big labels, and then suddenly you get a manager, you get a tour manager, and then it just takes off.
Yeah.
But like, it's just not as simple as that. Though you've shown me that there's other routes and other ways of getting to being like a full-time artist.
Okay, here we are again. I think last time we recorded this call was like a year ago, maybe even longer.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh,
Yeah.
because you've been in the coaching program for like a bit more than a year now, right?
I think it's like
A year and a half,
just
maybe.
over 2 years, in
2
fact.
years already.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
we did the like the 4 week session thing that I don't know if you still do that, but we started off with that and then I joined the coaching
Yeah.
system like yeah, about 2 years ago.
Wow. Time really flies. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely by the way, because I also came to visit you in London and that was already it's already like half a year ago from now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on your birthday.
Exactly, yeah. Time flies. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to do these calls to give people who might be interested in coaching a bit more perspective on what coaching actually is. Because to me, like, I have a certain feel around the world. Like, I believe that coaching is something that could be really valuable for artists. But I do also understand that artists might think like, what is coaching actually, and why could it be valuable to me? So I wanted to show some personal stories from clients that I've been coaching for a longer period of time, and yeah, let you do the word about how you've experienced it and why you think of what it brought to you in your career and in your life. So could you tell a bit more about the story before you started the coaching program? Like, where were you in your career? Yeah, could you tell a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So about 2 years ago, before I started the coaching program, I'd been making music for I think about 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
um, but only seriously for sort of the previous year. Um, and I'd been DJing at my local club pretty much every Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, because
But I,
you're from Guernsey, right? It's a small little
yeah,
island. It's hard to reach out to different cities.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'd felt like that I'd kind of not. I'd felt like I'd hit a wall because I wasn't like making any progress anymore. Like I was DJing at my local club nearly every weekend. I was making music, putting it out for free, doing a few bootlegs, but not really like gaining any traction. And I didn't really have anybody that I knew that well that was like technical to give me feedback on my tracks. So I was
Mm-hmm.
just going off like friends' reactions, and of course they all say, "Oh yeah, it sounds great." Like, but you have no idea if they're like being nice to you or if they think it sounds good, but like not
Yeah.
from a technical
Yeah.
view. Um, so I think actually I found out about you from when Sam Matler had you on the EDM podcast.
Yeah. As a guest.
Yeah,
Yeah. True.
which was quite a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, that is longer than 2 years. Probably three or
Yeah.
4 years. Yeah.
And then I think you were on my radar then, and I was like watching your YouTube videos and listening to your podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally decided to reach out because I was like learning quite a lot from your content, but then I kind of really wanted the hands-on personal experience and
Yeah.
feedback and just generally a strategy because I feel like I'd completely hit a wall in
Yeah.
terms of progress.
And what was the thing that you were hitting a wall with? Like, um, was it music production wise? Do you feel like you weren't able to lift your music to the next level, or was it more the business side from it? So yeah, making money with your music.
I think it was probably both, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because I hadn't really made any progress from the business side, and I didn't really have that good a strategy or anything or like a plan written
Mm-hmm.
in place. Um, and then from like the music production point of view, I'd say, yeah, I wasn't making too much progress there either.
Yeah.
So
And were you aware of the fact that this was part of the job?
in terms of like the business side, or
Yeah, like were you aware of the fact that marketing and promotion and all those things were part of becoming a professional artist?
I was because I'd watched some of your videos
Hmm.
previously, but I, what I had in my head before I started the whole coaching program was that you make a really good track, you get it signed to like Spinnin or Revealed or Armada, like one of the really big labels, and then suddenly you get a manager, you get a tour manager, and then it just takes off.
Yeah,
But like it's just not as simple as that. And I think that you've shown me that there's other routes and other ways of getting to being like a full-time artist,
hmm,
which is it relies less on luck, I think, the
yeah,
strategy that we're going for right now,
hmm,
and actually building something yourself rather than relying on other people giving you a yes or a no. And yeah, like I'm not saying that it's like you have to be lucky to be on those labels, but it's like the chances are so small that I think you need to take matters into your own hands, which
yeah,
is like a strategy that we've kind of been
yeah.
working on.
And what did that bring you so far?
Um, Quite a lot over the past year, I think.
Yeah, let's sum up
um,
some of the things.
yeah, sure. So last year we mainly decided to start focusing on making bootlegs of like popular tracks.
Yeah.
So I was making dance bootlegs of tracks in like the top 40.
Hmm.
One of which was for Lewis Capaldi, "Someone You Loved," and I just kind of made that one as pretty much as quick as I could, like one Saturday afternoon or something. Just put it on SoundCloud, YouTube, and then left it.
Yeah.
And then like 3 months later, I had this message from a radio presenter at Sirius XM called Rita, and then
Hmm.
she told me that she'd been playing that bootleg for like a month or so, and every time it got played, people started messaging asking where they could get it and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
that led to a really good connection.
Because
Um,
Sirius is like a big radio station in the States, right? In America.
yeah, it's like 30 million subscriptions or something
Yeah, could
crazy
be.
like
It's
that.
it's really big. I think it's an online radio station, but so they reached out to you after you've released your bootleg, right?
Yeah. And then they asked if I would like to turn it into an official remix, which obviously,
Sure.
yes, please.
Yeah.
So they put me in touch with the guys at Universal. Sadly, nothing's ever come of that.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe it will one day. I'm not sure, but that led to another official remix request for Griffin and Carly Rae Jepsen,
Yeah.
which got played on the radio for about 6 weeks, I think, like three or
Hmm.
four times a day, which was really cool. Um, Gained quite a lot of fans that way as well.
Also
And
got
then,
released, right?
yeah, it got released,
Yeah.
and so far it has like 1.5 million streams or something. So quite
Decent.
happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from that, I got another official remix request, and yeah, so far so good.
Yeah.
That was quite a big highlight of last year, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what else? Like, what else did the coaching program bring you aside from like getting bigger releases? And you also managed to get booked in London in the Ministry of Sound.
Yeah.
That's because that's where I came to visit you
Yep.
at your first gig.
Yeah, so I can mention the story about that.
Hmm.
I was actually on holiday at the time, and I know a guy that plays at Ministry of Sound, um, and he happened to be playing there like one Friday night, and I could see on his Instagram story that it was like absolutely going off. So I just quickly pinged him a direct message saying, "Oh wow, looks so sick. I need to come visit sometime." And he said, "Oh yeah, I can get you a slot there if you like." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." I meant to come and like watch or something.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then it was like 2 or 3 months later, I had the like support slot for Jay Hardway, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
and then that's when you came and surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Good weekend.
And then
Hmm.
yeah, that was really good. And
Yeah.
then that led to meeting a promoter,
Hmm.
and I then got booked for their Halloween party as well, which was really cool.
Hmm.
And I also got booked for this year's Halloween party, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So
Yeah, the whole Corona thing is kind of breaking those things down. That sucks.
yeah, but in terms
Um,
of the coaching
mhm.
side, I think what was really important is to have like a really good strategy from the outset, and because as like an artist, it's so easy to go down like different directions, different pathways. Um, I guess it's like the artist's way. You're trying to explore different things, but I think what you've really helped with, Joey, is you've helped me kind of like stay on this path that you think is going to work.
Hmm.
Sure, you can experiment with a few things, but by sticking to an actual strategy and not getting too distracted, it
Yeah.
really helped. Like for example, 2019, right at the start of the year, we said let's focus on bootlegs, try and build a fan base, and then yeah,
Let's see.
that happened.
Yeah. Let's
So
see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. And aside from the like the achievements, right? So the releases and the gigs that you got from it, the results of it.
yeah.
Um, what are some maybe side benefits, like something else that you might enjoy from the coaching process?
I think having like an extended network was
Hmm.
pretty helpful. Like we have a WhatsApp chat, Facebook group, and then during the Amsterdam dance event, you do the like lunch and learn.
Yeah.
I've met um, Tom Napravsky, or better known as Nipri,
Hmm.
and then we had a collaboration released with Thomas Gold uh, like 6 weeks ago,
Yeah.
which was like amazing. And then we're working on a follow up now. So if we didn't have like the artist coaching network, that would have never happened as well. So it's a good way to meet like minded people, I think.
Okay. That's fun for me to hear as well because I create those things, but it's once it after it happens, it's hard for me to see what comes from it. You know, like I see a lot of people talking together on those events and in the chat and through WhatsApp, um, but I don't see all the results of it. And of course, I did see your result. Great track. It's also in my playlist. Uh,
Thanks.
but it's fun to see that it actually brings value to you. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I think most of my collaborations came from like the artist coaching network, like
Mm.
with Christian,
Yeah.
Bart. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's quite cool.
Wow. And how would you say that coaching has influenced your career?
I think it helps you take it more seriously because
Hmm.
you always think, well, at least for me, I always thought, this is something I want to do full time. Um, I'm not doing it full time at the moment, unfortunately, but
Hmm.
we're working towards that. Um, but I think because you've got this like once a month meeting that we have, if we set some targets or some goals to achieve, it's like you have to do that because if not, then you're just wasting time, money, and
Yeah.
yeah, like you're just you're not taking yourself seriously if you don't commit to achieving those goals or
Yeah.
targets that you've set, I think.
So it also helps you to be accountable. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if you look back to, yeah, almost 2 years ago when you started this whole thing, um, what did you expect from the coaching process? Like, what were your thoughts? Like,
I remember thinking at the time that it would be mainly focused on production because I really thought that my music production skills were like not even close to being good enough to like say get played on the radio or have an official remix.
yeah.
But then I think you made me realize that maybe I was like I don't know 80% of the way there.
Hmm.
But then whilst getting to that last 20%, if you start focusing on like the marketing, the business, the brand, that's almost just as important, if not like more important, nowadays, I think.
Yeah.
So for me, I was thinking before I started that it would be mainly focused on the production side of things, but
Mm-hmm.
in actual fact, yeah, the branding, marketing, networking, that's like way up there, and probably music production's like here,
Yeah.
which is kind of like a shame because it should be all about the music, but it's like you always say, it's like a business, so
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah, it is about the music. It all starts with the music, but it's just that you need to do a lot more if you would like to make this your profession, if you would like to make money with it.
Yeah,
And I think that that's interesting for people to realize, like, music's important, but that's not what I want to focus on in the coaching program, because you kind of have to figure that out by yourself, right? Especially these days with YouTube. Everything
yeah,
you need to know about music production is out there. So if you're getting stuck, or if you want to know what compression does or whatever, you can find that on the internet.
yeah,
But it's more about, how do I actually build a business from this? How can I make a living from this? And
yeah,
that involves so many subtle little tweaks. That's why I believe that the custom, like personal coaching, is the best way to do it, because every artist is different,
yeah.
and every artist's career is different. So that's why I believe personal coaching is the most effective way to do it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because I think before I was focusing too much on music production and not building a network, not working on branding, press images, anything like that.
Yeah.
So even if I made the best track in the world, people might visit my like social media and then think, oh, okay, like there's no real like brand here or something. Whereas
Yeah.
I guess you can become like more of a fan of a person if they have like this brand behind them, and
Hmm.
yeah, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. And what changed for you regarding to social media? If you have a look at when you got started and where you're at now.
So I think to begin with, I was hardly posting anything on Facebook, Instagram,
Hmm.
etc., and there was no real consistency. Whereas I think it was about a year ago that you told me to start posting something every single day,
Hmm.
which I did for probably like 10 months. And then unfortunately with the whole coronavirus thing, I find it a little bit trickier now, but I
Yeah.
still try and post every other day,
Hmm.
which I think helps to build fans, a bit of consistency, always keep in people's minds.
Yeah.
And it's not just like trying to sell your music all the time. It's like showing the personal side of things, like a barbecue, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's actually more about that than it is about selling the music.
yeah, I think actually like 3/4 of my posts are just like personal things now, and then
Yeah.
like maybe 1/4 is check out my new song, or maybe
Yeah.
even less than that. So
And have you been receiving, like, what did you notice on social media during those years? Like, what changed? Are you receiving direct messages, for example, or do you already have some fans?
yeah, actually with the direct messages, a lot of those started coming in when I started getting played on Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I noticed it, because I hardly got any direct messages before that. I'd get the collab bro kind of messages, which
Yeah, yeah,
most of the time you have to ignore because it's like somebody who doesn't really care and he's just spamming everybody.
yeah,
And I still get those. Some of them are a little bit more tactical than others now,
yeah,
but yeah, I get a lot more direct messages, even from people that I've never even heard of before, just saying, "Oh, by the way, I really like your remix. Just wanted to let you know,"
cool.
which is like a really nice feeling that somebody's taken like the effort to actually, get out their phone, search for you, and then
Yeah,
send you a message. I think that means a hell of a lot more than like 10,000 streams, because that's like one person that's really, really liking what you're doing to send you a message.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's an amazing feeling. True.
yeah, I even got a
And
message like 2 days ago. For some reason, he'd like found that I was part of your coaching program, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Oh, so like, what's Joey like? What's the coaching like? What's your experience?" So
Yeah.
that was quite cool.
So they know how to find
Um,
you.
yeah,
They found out.
I need to ask him actually. Where did you find me? Because he never
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I'll see. Um, Regarding to the networking thing, because when you started with the whole coaching program, did you had any connections outside of your hometown or?
I had a few from some
Mm-hmm.
like guest DJs that had come and played at the club where
Mm-hmm.
I play at. I've done like warm-up sets, but where I play, like EDM and like progressive house isn't really that popular. So they're mostly like UK house DJs or like drum and bass DJs. So it was like I had some connections, but then just not the right ones to have.
Yeah,
So but yeah, I think that lunch and learn that you did at the Amsterdam dance event was really a big one for me
really
personally.
valuable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll definitely continue doing it if ADE
yeah.
will take place this year. I'll definitely. I already got my date booked for it, so it's gonna be there. I'm sure.
What I really
Um,
liked about that session
mhm.
back in 2018, the first one I went to, was I went by myself. So I was like really shy, really nervous to start talking to new people. And
Yeah,
that lunch and learn, it was like pretty interactive. So you could just kind of like break the ice with people and get a conversation going. And then that kind of like warmed you up to when you left or went to another event the following day. You were kind of already warmed up and like ready to start talking to people and
yeah,
introducing yourself.
yeah. And
Which,
what I thought was nice to
yeah,
see is that people who never met each other actually spent the whole Amsterdam Dance event together and became sort of friends. You know?
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun. And did you also manage to get some like bigger connections, like bigger DJs that you get to know throughout the years, or that you are in contact with?
Um, yeah, although not necessarily directly from the coaching, just
Hmm.
from like building the brand and building up the music.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago, just randomly, like Dash Berlin followed me on Instagram and then sent me a message saying, "Really like your music, keep keep going." And I was like, "Is this account real? Like, it must be a fake account."
yeah, exactly. Keep checking it, like,
Yeah,
cool.
and then now I have him on Instagram and message him some new tracks and stuff, and he starts supporting pretty much everything I've done since then. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. And then Crider as well, just randomly sent me a message on Instagram asking for my like remix of Piano,
yeah.
uh, which at the time I didn't realize how big he was until I told you, and
Until
then
you
you were
told me,
like,
it's like Kreider. It's like, dude, he's pretty big. Yeah.
yeah,
Nice, but that's the thing, you know, and I'm happy to see that you have been living up about it. Like once you start releasing your music, those kind of things will start to happen automatically. As in, that's what people call luck. You know, like it's
yeah,
lucky that they came to you, but they could have never find out about you if you never released your music and if you didn't do the work on your promotion plan and on your marketing plan, and that's all up to you. And that's
yeah,
something that yeah, you're like a textbook student. You're one of those guys who really put in a lot of effort to build that side of your career, and you've yeah, now that we're talking about it, all those things that came from it is the result of your own actions. And I think that that's really important to understand for artists, that it needs to come from you.
mm,
Like you are the one who has to do the push-ups.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can be
But
by my side shouting at me and telling me to do them.
yeah, yeah, sort of, you know, like it could motivate you. it could help for accountability, as you mentioned, to have someone that you feel accountable to, motivation, and also the networking part. That's what I thought could be really valuable, but it's nice to hear from you that it actually works. Also for me, because like, yeah, when I set this thing up, it's just an idea. Like, I think this could be valuable, but now almost 4 years in, I actually see results with a lot of the clients, and that's really nice to see.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But yeah, that, like the major thing that you said there, which really struck a chord with me, was like releasing music, creating opportunities. Yeah, if you release like one track per year, you've got like one lottery ticket.
Yeah,
But if you release like 12 tracks a year, you've got 12 lottery tickets, so you're more likely to win a prize or
yeah.
something.
That's actually a good,
So,
what's the right word? A good
analogy?
yeah, analogy, yeah. It's a really good analogy, yeah. You're creating extra lottery tickets for yourself.
I think you said that. I think I
Oh,
copied
really?
that from you.
Oh, shit.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
could
like
be.
I've heard it somewhere.
I tried to record as much as possible, but probably didn't record that one. I'll remember it. I'll use it more often. It's a nice one. Yeah.
Patent pending.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
Copyrighted or
Josh.
something.
Yeah. Josh, thanks for taking the time to do this, man. The connection is getting a bit bad as well, but I want to thank you for taking the time to explain to people who might be thinking about coaching or who are struggling in their career and don't really know if it could help them. And I think it's nice to hear from you what it could bring them. So yeah, thanks for doing this.
No problem. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks very much for the opportunity.
No worries. Bye.
Cool. Bye, Joey.